What's going on, YouTube family? It's your boy Mike Macklin, aka Money Mike, the financial Thanos. Cause I'm snapping my fingers and I'm turning your financial problems to dust. Hey, I want to welcome you guys to my channel. Definitely appreciate all the love and support. Also appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes, all the notification bells, everybody hitting, showing your boy mad love on my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, let me first and foremost introduce myself. My name is Michael Macklin. I go by Money Mike. I'm a personal financial coach specializing in a very simple 5-step strategy that's going to help you achieve personal financial success. Now, what I want you to do, if you want to learn more about that, I want you to go to my website, www.moneymike313.com. It should also appear here on the screen here shortly, and you can check that out. And you can even book yourself a free 30-minute initial consultation. So just like when you go to the lawyer, they sit down and talk to you for free the first time. Hey, I got you in the same way. We can figure out what you need to do, and we get you started here and see where you need to go. But we ain't talking about that no more. Today, what we want to talk about is what we talk about each and every Tuesday and Thursday, and that's my reactions to different videos. Now, the point behind my videos is I like to take you guys into my world, let you look at some of the things that I'm looking at. This is a lot of stuff I looked at to learn and grow. The videos that I watch them based off of my interest level. I try to learn all kind of different aspects of personal finance. And so, I look for videos along those lines that, help you as long as personal finance, as well as motivation and, just getting you more grounded. And so today is no different. Today I've chose this video because I've heard a lot of people talking about whether or not you should pay your mortgage off, early. And, some people say no, some people say yes. They have different reasons for it. So I wanted to chime in with my own thoughts as well as, hear the thoughts of somebody who's in the financial realm. Now, he's been in the financial realm for a while. This guy is an accountant, I believe. Pretty well-versed guy. I've watched a few of his videos. Haven't watched this one, but we're going to watch this together. You guys can leave y'all comments below as well. I'm going to comment what I think, but I want you guys to leave y'all comments below as well. And let's have a dialogue. Let's exchange ideas because, hey, look, everybody has a different perspective. But we going to get right into this gentleman's perspective, and we going to have this conversation. So I ain't going to hold y'all no longer. Let's go.
Down in mortgage early is a terrible idea because of opportunity costs, inflation, and also interest rates being so low. It's not necessary to go ahead and pay down a mortgage early. And because basically people don't like Dave Ramsey, they say, hey, everything Dave says is just fake news. You don't like it, I don't like it, I don't listen to it. However, though, I thought the exact same way, okay? In reality, when I first heard about Dave Ramsey, someone told me, Tommy, you must not like Dave Ramsey. He would disagree with everything you're saying here. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know who Dave Ramsey is. And then I found out, hey, well, Dave does disagree with everything I have to say. And I made a video saying, hey, I don't like Dave Ramsey, okay? However, though, one thing I learned from my mentors, okay, Warren Buffett, and also Charlie Munger, the one thing I learned is
basically, I did a video with both of them in it like
never, ever
last week, I think.
Want to argue a point when you don't know the person's side better than they know it. So I made it my mission to learn everything about Dave Ramsey and what he actually thinks, how he thinks, and why he thinks the way he thinks, okay? And that's how I figured out the basic, hey, maybe everything he says isn't just fake news, okay? That's the whole idea here. So today I'm going to tell you exactly
I'm sure some of it's based on some truth.
Might not actually
it's a matter of opinion at the end of the day.
By the way, of course, it's not an opinion. I will dive into math, also
he said he about to go into facts.
Stuff. I'll go over everything. This way, you know exactly how things actually make sense and come together. Now, if you guys are new here, I post videos literally every single day. Have been for the past 2.5 years or something like that. Crazy, I know, but that's my job here. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified. And on top of that, also destroy, smash, do whatever you want with the like button. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone, okay? But overall, guys, the big example I see all the time when it comes to, hey, here's why you don't want to pay your mortgage early. The big thing is opportunity cost. Well, Tell me, if you spent all that money, you could have used that money to go out there and make more money. Tell me, the interest rate is so low. Well, after you take away inflation, it's only around like 2%. So why not just go ahead and go out there and earn more than 2%, and that way you make a massive profit, right? That's the big objection you hear all the time. However, though, let's put this example into action. Let's say, for example, I bought a house, right? And this house costs around $300,000. To me, a lot of money if you ask me.
To me too.
And I'm going to put this house on a 15-year mortgage. That way, I'm done with it a lot faster. On top of that, the interest rate at the current time was around 4%. So again, $300K, 4% over a 15-year period. How much do I pay every single month? The answer is around $2,219. However, though, if I grab that same property and basically said, hey, instead of 15 years, let's do it in 30 years. This way I have a lot more time. Again, inflation, opportunity cost, more investing, all this stuff. In reality, my mortgage would only be around $1,432. Now that means I have a difference of around $787 I get to keep in my pocket by not getting that 15-year mortgage. That is the entire idea there. Now tell me, okay, I get that now. I understand that. But where exactly are you going with this? Well, the truth is, guys, the argument we see all the time is basically, well, Tommy, if I grab that $787, I can grab that money and invest it, for example, into index funds and get around 10% on average every single year. Now, by the way, that's not false. That's not fake.
Right.
It's probably true,
argument.
right? You can make that much money in index funds. I have been making that money for a while now also in index funds. However, okay, $787 invested every single month over a 30-year period at a 10% return. How much money do you have at the end of that? The answer is you will have around $1.7 million. However, if you said no to that, and you said, for example, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and pay my house off in 15 years, a lot earlier. So basically, you went ahead and paid $2,219 every single month for 15 years. And then, once you were done with that, then you went ahead and caught up by saying, hey, I have all this free money now. I have my house, it's paid off. I'm going to grab that money and invest it in full in the market. Also into index funds, okay? That almost 2,000 plus money. However, how much money will you have then? Again, you're going to be investing $2,219, which is a lot more than you did when you were investing around $787. But the truth is that because compound interest needs time, although you will be investing almost 3 times the amount of money over a 15-year period, you will only have around $930,000 at the end of that same investment period. Again, 15 years, although you're investing almost 3 or 4 times the money. Now, you might say, Tommy, well, 30-year mortgage, I have $1.9 million. 50-year mortgage, I have $930K. Obviously, I want to get the 30-year mortgage. However, it does sound like that. The math does say that. But in reality, that is not everything you need to know. And that's why the example, although it makes it good, hey, mortgage, good, pay off early, bad, it leaves out a lot of things. And if you ask me, it's a little biased, okay? And that's why I never use this example. Because it says, for example, hey, all you can do is pay the mortgage. You can't invest while you're paying the mortgage. In reality, that's not true, okay? Because in reality, even in Dave Ramsey's plan and also my plan, we always say, for example, hey, you want to be investing while you're paying off the mortgage early. Dave says invest 15% while you pay off the mortgage early, and I say invest 20%, 25%, while you basically pay off 15% extra towards that mortgage, okay? There is always investing going on. So say, for example, there is no investing while paying off the mortgage early is not true. That's not the full picture, and that is not what I'm going to paint for you guys in this video. Now, here's a real example using my plan and also using a calculator and also some math, okay? Math makes things a lot more simple. You always want to run the numbers. Now, my idea is this, okay? Whenever you're going to buy a house, it cannot exceed 30% of your monthly income. Meaning, the mortgage, the HOA fee, the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance cannot exceed 30% 33% of your entire income on a monthly basis. On top of that, when you go ahead and buy a house, you want to make sure you have emergency money. That way, when something breaks, you're good to go. If you lose your job, you're good to go. This way, you don't lose track of the entire plan. Now, obviously, if you start off with 100%, okay, and the house only costs you 30%, it means you still have a ton of money for expenses, for investing, and also for paying off the house early. And that's exactly what we're going to do with my plan, okay? The plan is you want to invest 20% if you're single and 25% if you have kids and you want to put, for example, 5% towards that 529 account for the college fund. I wish my mom did that, but she didn't. She didn't know. Don't blame her. On top of that, you want to pay extra, around 15% towards that mortgage every single month.
Okay.
Now, here is the math that they don't tell you, okay? The math is this, okay? Same example, 300K house, 15-year mortgage. On top of that, you're also still at a 4% rate. Now, what this means is this, guys, okay? It means, for example, you're paying $2,129. Now, again, you're following the 33% rule, which means to be able to do this, you need to have an income of around, just divided by 0.33, you have a monthly income of around $6,451. That is the rule here. Which means, okay, all right, 2K goes towards the entire house, but now we can grab 20% and put it towards investing, and also 15% and put it towards paying that house early a lot faster. Now, here is the cool thing here. We're going to go ahead and basically invest 20%. That means we're going to be investing $1,290 every single month, okay? On top of that, divided by 20 again, gives us the numbers again. On top of that, we're going to go ahead and pay an extra 15% towards that mortgage every single month. So again, multiplied by 0.50% means we're paying around $967 towards that mortgage every single month extra. Now, what are the real results here? Well, the answer is this, guys. This means, for example, guys, okay, if you are investing that much money every single month, well, in reality, that adds up to around $16,137 every single year, which means over a 30-year period, you're going to have around $2.9 million invested, which basically means you have more than 30-year mortgage or 15-year mortgage earlier when you weren't investing the correct way. So $2.9 million and your house is paid off is still a pretty solid deal. But the answer is you gotta invest where you're paying off the house early. That's the core idea. On top of that, by paying basically an extra $1,000 almost towards that mortgage, you get to finish 5 years and 8 months earlier, which again is also amazing. That means basically you finish a 15-year mortgage in 10 years.
Actually, less than that.
You're done with your entire house problem in 10 years. Meaning, you're not waiting 30 years or 15 years. You're done only in 10 years. That means you're now a homeowner, right? You own your home. You're still investing. But on top of that, you have a bunch of extra cash to burn through. If you want to have fun, go ahead. If you want to invest more, go ahead. If you want to give more money away, go ahead. And that's the core idea. So overall, guys, okay, paying your mortgage early is going to give you a lot of freedom. Paying your mortgage early without investing is going to be a terrible idea. The best way to do it is basically, hey, I want to make sure when I'm paying this mortgage early, I'm also investing. That way, I get a part of all that compound interest over that 10 to 15 to 30-year period. That is exactly what you actually want. However, okay, here is the honest truth here, guys, okay? The big problem is basically people buy houses they cannot afford and they do not follow the 33% rule. On top of that, people are very optimistic. In 10-year period, 15-year period, or 30-year period, that is a long time. In 30 years, your job can be obsolete. In 30 years, you can be disabled. You never know what's going to happen. So basically saying, hey, I'm just going to pay this off in 30 years and just everything's going to be perfect. The answer is no. Things don't always work that way. That's why you want to be done with it earlier. Lower your house expenses, and this way, you're covered. On top of that, people don't save for emergencies. So make sure, obviously, okay, if you're paying off the mortgage early, it's going to take a lot more money, which basically means You want to have money on the side, so if you lose your job, you can still go ahead and get a job and cover expenses while everything is going wrong. At least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. That way, you have peace of mind and security. I would never ever buy a house without having 3 to 6 months of emergencies. That way, when things go wrong, I'm taken care of, and that way I'm good to go. So overall, again, invest while you're paying off the mortgage early. If you want to follow my plan, the idea is you want to invest 20% if you're single, 25% if you have a kid, or 39 accounts, and also pay an extra 15% towards the mortgage. On top of that, you don't want to buy a house that's going to be over 33% of your monthly take-home pay. That's the idea. Whether it's on a 50-year mortgage, that's obviously a cheaper house, or whether, for example, that's on a 30-year mortgage, okay? It's up to you, but the answer is don't buy something that's going to take up literally all of your money. That is not what you want to do. And again, 33% includes, for example, the mortgage, interest, capital, also insurance, taxes, HOA fee, and on top of that, also, guess what? Maintenance. Houses have maintenance. Something breaks, you need to have money there to actually take care of it. And that is the entire idea, guys, okay? Hopefully, this video helped you in some way, and hopefully reminds you, hey, the core idea is this, guys, okay? Sometimes just saying, hey, I don't agree with someone is not what my mentors would do. So you always want to analyze everything and say to them, hey, why does this person think the way they think? And then you can go ahead and say, hey, I know this, I can take this from here, and create a plan that works best for you, okay? And that's what I created when I created my entire Freedom Steps. By the way, I have a course.
Okay. He getting into advertising for himself now, and that's cool, but we here to talk about this point. And that is, to me, he's already basically said in the title of it is a better idea to pay the mortgage off early. So let's talk about some of the points he brought up and why. And I'm going to add my own little spin to it. I ain't going to hold you too long, but I do want you guys to understand this. And again, hear a little bit more on it. So, the argument that's being made, according to him, is that, by paying off the mortgage early, you're basically dumping all your money into that mortgage. And, what you're doing by doing that is you're missing out on the investment piece. You're missing out on compounding, which is true. If you just dump all your money into paying off the mortgage early, that is exactly what you're doing. You're losing out on compounding. And compounding is how you exponentially grow your money. That there's plenty of examples of how that works out, so I won't get too deep into that, but I'm telling you, compounded interest is the move, and that's what you want. So to go further into that, he was basically saying, hey, look, if you went ahead and went the 30-year route versus, the 15-year route, and you invested that difference, you stand to make more money. Then if you just, again, paid off early. However, he's saying, hey, look, this ain't the whole equation. Everything's not being considered in that. And what he's meaning by that is, hey, you don't want to just follow one path in this. In financial literacy and what I teach a lot of times, I teach people, you kind of got to look at everything that you're trying to do. You got to look at your numbers. And that's another point he brought up, is looking at the numbers, looking at how much you have. First, he got into how much you should actually be paying on a house. Total. I'm talking about everything. And most people don't look at everything. They just look at, hey, look, this is my mortgage. But you have to look at maintenance. You got to look at, the insurance. You got to look at all these different things. And if that number is more than 33% of your take-home pay, then, you're paying too much for that house. And you're putting yourself in a situation where most people tell me, well, Mike, I can't invest. My house costs too much, which is crazy. You're wrapping up too much of your money in one place. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, because one, a house isn't even an investment until, you can make some money off of it. You start earning that equity and that appreciation. That's when you start to make your money off of it. Until then, you just got your money wrapped up into some bricks and, siding. And that's how you have to look at it. But, he's saying, hey, look, be at that 33%. And then what you want to do now is you want to incorporate a kind of a mathematical way of investing and paying off that debt early. And so he went with the 15-year mortgage. And so you have to have, again, you got to have enough money to handle that. Don't go with this idea if you can't handle that. If your pockets can't handle that, adjust it accordingly. Maybe go with the 30-year mortgage and play it by ear. See how that works out for you. Obviously, you're not going to see the same results, but that's okay. You still are going to be able to, pay things down more quickly. You're going to see more money based on compounding, and it's going to look a lot better for you. So what he's saying here is, hey, look, throw 20 to 25% in investing. Now, some people may say, okay, come on, Mike, I ain't got it like that. Well, if you don't, again, do what you can. That's what it's all about, being able to do what you can. But he's giving you basically the keys here. He put you on game. And then he goes further to say, hey, look, take another 15% of your money and pay that towards paying the mortgage off early. A lot of this, again, is all about, knowing where your numbers are, knowing how much money you have, and having a strategy for that money. And that's what he's doing here. He's giving you the strategy for that money, because now you're still investing. You're still paying down that mortgage a little bit early. And what he shows you is that when you do that, not only do you knock out that debt a lot more quickly, you were still investing and paying down that mortgage. So when you invested that money, that additional money, the 15, not the 15%, but the 20% towards, towards your investment portfolio, you made almost double what you would have made if you were just, doing the different, the strategies talked about at the beginning, where you were just doing one or the other. So that was huge in and of itself. But the next great thing is, he showed you how, hey, look, just doing that, paying that extra onto that 15% extra, you're knocking out that debt almost, 6 years earlier. It was 5 years and 8 months. He said 5 years just to make it a clean number, but you're almost at 6 years. So in a little over 9 years, you have paid off a home. And then you're able to, that $2,000 that you was paying into it, now that's $2,000 extra dollars you got to where you can invest some more. You can put some more money to the side. You can do a lot of things now with that extra money. And one more point that he brought up that was actually awesome is that, when people look at buying a house, you tying too much of your money up into it, and you're being too optimistic about where your life is going to be over the course of that 30 years. You could lose your job. You can get hurt. You could have a bunch of emergencies happen back to back to back to back to back. Or, a lot of people, they put so much money into their house, they can't do nothing no more. They can't go on vacation. They can't dine out. They can't shop. They can't do nothing because they got all their money wrapped up in, in this mortgage, in this, again, bricks and mortar, bricks and siding, whatever you want to call it. So now you basically built yourself a prison. So you're sitting in a prison because you didn't, prioritize your finances and put your numbers where they needed to be. Kevin O'Leary talks about this as well. It's about, hey, look, the average person should be out of debt by the time they're 45 years of age, to include their mortgage. And think about how many people are nowhere close to that. I worked as a mortgage loan originator a few years back, and there was times I was talking to people in their 70s and 80s who was still looking to refinance their home, and basically they was like, well, I ain't never going to pay this off. And, my kids will get this, which is crazy. For me, I'm like, I don't want your debt, grandpa, grandma. I don't want your debt. But that's how a lot of people look at this. And one last point, again, paying 30 years on a mortgage is the same problem as, when you pay the minimum payment on a credit card. So when you pay your mortgage, the minimum payment, over that 30 years, that they're killing you on interest. And it's the same thing with a credit card. That's why you don't do it with a credit card either. And that's probably a better or an easier example for somebody to be able to see smaller numbers. You pay on a credit card minimum payments, that interest is going to eat up that minimum payment. And that's why you end up paying for, like you might have like $3,000-$4,000 on a credit card, But after you get said and done paying on everything, you might be at $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 paying on that credit card because you was paying the minimum payments. And I say all that to say again, you have to know where your money's going. You got to know how much you actually can afford in life, and you got to have a plan to get out of this rat race. You got a plan to get out of the rat race, and investing and having emergency funds and paying down debt. That's the way you do it. That's the way you get yourself out of that situation. I tell people that all the time. I'm a person, I do not like debt, not bad debt. Now, good debt, if it's something that's going to help me, then hey, I'm all for it. But if it's debt that I don't need, I'm getting rid of it. I don't carry credit card debt. I'm finally in a position where I don't have a car note anymore, and I would never, if I can help it, have a car note again. I'm going to have a home paid off using these strategies. So again, at the end of the day, I'm saying all this to say, hey, I agree with what he's talking about here. I thought this was a really, really insightful video. He didn't attack Dave Ramsey. He didn't say anything bad about him. He just said, hey, listen, I wanted to look at it from his standpoint, understand what he's talking about, and then offer his insights on that. So that's why I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot from that. The numbers was spot on. It was great numbers. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a mathematician, but, he used, the numbers, and he showed you right on, the calculator what it looked like. So, the man used sound judgment on this, and I thought it was a great video. Hey, again, tell me what you guys think. Leave a comment below what you thought about the video. And also, while you're hitting buttons, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can know every time I drop a new video just like this one. And as always, I love you. God loves you. He smiles when he sees you, and he sees you all the time, so he's always smiling. So why aren't we? Hey, you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Like, comment below what you thought. Share this, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. God bless you all. Gone.